you see Raw recently? After a pretty big announcement where WWE did reveal they'd be running their first ever women's pay-per-view, there was clearly instructions to talk about it throughout the show and make sure that we do talk about it whenever there was an opportunity, or more or less every few minutes. And this got ridiculous before Raw was over because it was like you had been attacked by a spoon, and no one ever talks about that. And if you're out there right now going, what are you talking about, attacked by a spoon? Go and get a spoon and slam it into your head for the rest of the day. Don't come tell me if you enjoyed being attacked by a spoon. The answer will be no. No idea what we're talking about. Enough. Anyway, it was a bit too much, but the real problem is when Braun Strowman came out to cut his promo about how he was going to kill everybody in order to get his hands on the Universal Championship, well, he too had to mention the women's pay-per-view known as Evolution. Now, I don't mind promotion at all. In fact, I absolutely get it. If you're trying to highlight something, the best way to do that and make it feel important is to talk about it. For example, remember when Braun Strowman threw Kevin Owens off that cage at Extreme Rules? What happened at Raw the next day? They mentioned it once, and because of that, it didn't feel that special at all. However, when you overdo this idea and you tell wrestlers to go and sing the praises of an event that has absolutely nothing to do with them, well, I think that is WWE failing to protect these characters, and that is bad for business. Why? Nowhere else to go. Here's why. This argument always runs the risk of bringing social media into the mix, so let's just say between you and me that we're not going to do that today, and that yes, something like Instagram is different to TV. I totally get it can be an issue, but let's take it one step at a time. For now, we'll just focus on the WWE product, be that Raw, SmackDown or pay-per-view, and that when you tune into these, there's a certain level of expectation. That's why when Braun Strowman, a man who has held ambulances, actually tried to kill Roman Reigns, and as we've already said, chucked Kevin Owens off a cell, is being used as a walking billboard, well, there's a disconnect there, and I think it's something we need to chat about. And I get it too, wrestling is entertainment, so who cares? Why let it drag us down when we could just smile and be happy? And I agree, we've only got one life as far as we know, and why waste time picking holes at things? But that aside, it's not hard to look at this situation and realise this ain't working too well. We'll use the past to inform the present and go back in time and talk about two specific characters, namely Stone Cold Steve Austin and of course The Undertaker. While we do live in different times in 2018, the real appeal with both of these guys is they always stay true to who they are, and they went out of their way to protect themselves. There are countless stories of Steve Austin being presented ideas and him going, well, no, I'm not going to do that because Stone Cold Steve Austin wouldn't do that. And if Stone Cold Steve Austin wouldn't do that, why on earth am I going to go out there and do that? It's going to affect me negatively. That's the last thing I want. And that went right down to things like romance angles as well. There's a rumor out there that at one point there was meant to be a storyline between Sable and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the Rattlesnake once again said, I don't want to do that because I don't want to show emotion. I don't want to be a romantic because to me, they are not attributes that people are going to associate with the character that I've been portraying for the last couple of years. It would take away from the fact that he's an ass-kicking, beer-brawling warrior, and really, it's kind of hard to argue against that. The Undertaker is this times 10. While there have been a few moments that made your eyebrow go up, at that time he came out on Raw and he was dressed in street clothes and he cut a shoot promo. That was just bizarre. The Phenom never did anything that a fake dead man wouldn't do, including interviews away from the squared circle. If it was going to affect his aura, why bother? I'm not saying we need to go back to those extremes today, but if WWE had announced something like an all-women's event and then sent The Undertaker out there to promote it, well, I think we can all agree that would have been really weird. It would have absolutely taken away from the persona. And also, how are you meant to suspend your disbelief if a dude who's not even meant to feel pain is now just an advert and, for some reason, cares about pay-per-view events that have absolutely nothing to do with him? It's not really that terrifying, is it? And The Undertaker was always meant to be terrifying. Really, it comes down to one simple question that we've already touched on, and that is, would The Undertaker say that? I know wrestling's not real and all these people are made up, but if I tune into Raw and you're not at least pretending that it's real, what is the point of any of this? If the answer is no, then don't do it. Put the character first and use that as well as you can. It doesn't make a difference short term, but long term, look at The Undertaker. The reason he has had so much longevity is because 99% of the time he knew exactly what he would and what he wouldn't do. It's exactly why Austin became the success that he did, and also maybe why his heel turn failed as it did. Even though as a tangent, I love that, I thought it was one of the best things ever. But it kind of felt like you knew the man because he always followed a strict set of rules. Even when he saved Stephanie McMahon from getting possessed by The Undertaker and she ran up to him and gave him a hug, he looked uncomfortable because, again, emotions and feelings and that kind of affection was alien to him and he didn't know how to respond. That made sense. These are the small things that don't really jump out and scream at you as you are watching pro wrestling, and instead slowly chip away at your psyche before, yes, you have a level of expectation. That then equals a more believable show and characters that make sense. I mean, let's be honest. Why would Braun Strowman give two shits about an all-women's pay-per-view? I don't mean that in a bad way either, but if he is meant to be some crazy monster beast terrifying dude, all he's gonna care about is the world title, and while he gets there, creating as much carnage as possible. As a balanced point of view to all of this, it's why AJ Styles promoting the same thing on SmackDown 24 hours later, that worked perfectly because AJ Styles is a lovable, good babyface that we all want to cheer and go, come on AJ, you can do it. Now, what he said was a little bit on the nose, but he can get away with it for all the reasons I just said. So of course he'd be happy about it, and that shift is minor, but it is oh so important in the grand scheme of things, and also it allows all the characters to feel separate from everybody else. They feel like individuals as opposed to like sheep that will go out there and just bar the same thing. Braun shouldn't act like AJ, just like Sasha Banks shouldn't be acting like Charlotte. If you treat everybody like that, I'm going to guess that business will improve because you're putting the performers first and foremost and you're making sure they're your most important asset, because they really are. That's the key here, and that's why I think it's something that WWE should implement. Or not. Do whatever you want. I'm just some bald guy on YouTube slapping my gums. Don't slap your gums. You whap your gums. You don't whap your gums. Whatever you do with your gums, words are coming out of my mouth. You can do whatever you want. But I like what I like, and I like it, and pro wrestling does this. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about all of this. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com and read some articles. Follow What Culture on Twitter at What Culture WWE. My name is Simon from What Culture. This was the Y Series. Thank you very much for sitting down and watching me through the magic of YouTube. I thought about it, as I always do, brain activating, sending thoughts. Who knows where they go in the body? I'll see you soon.